Better believe it, this will go down as one of the most mind-atrocity motion pictures ever. What's more, truly, this is most likely the best activity establishment ever, considering how reliably glorious every last one of the John Wick motion pictures have been. Indeed, in John Wick 4, that is the level the activity begins at and it continues to get raised from that point. As somebody doing the salmon stepping stool bounce in Ninja Fighter. Each sequential scene lifts the activity and either gives some cool variety in either the actual viewpoint or something outwardly breathtaking is going on screen to compensate for the way that John Wick isn't doing consistent 360 no extensions while going around in Paris. Be that as it may, some way or another this fourth portion destroys the rest. You know how in the last film, where in the mainland lodging, John Wick and the staff need to battle a multitude of high-table fighters with unbeatable protection, which basically goes about as the significant peak of that film. All things considered, in John Wick 4, that is the level the activity begins at and it continues to get raised from that point. As somebody doing the salmon stepping stool bounce in Ninja Fighter. Each continuous scene lifts the activity and either gives some cool variety in either the actual angle or something outwardly stupendous is going on screen to compensate for the way that John Wick isn't doing consistent 360 no extensions while going around in Paris. Since that is basically the most recent 30 minutes of the film. A steady long-distance race of exceptional activity offers extraordinary components in each set piece. It sort of helps me to remember Jackie Chan films where each activity scene involves the climate in some imaginative manner. What's more, in John Wick 4, pretty much every scene has a great time point. It plays with whether it being John battling individuals in occupied rush hour gridlock, battling on a huge flight of stairs where individuals are moving down vast stairways, or getting a firearm that fires combustible rounds. John Wick doesn't be guaranteed to connect with the climate however much Jackie Chan does, yet the setting wherein the activity happens keeps everything new and energizing, making it to where the choreographers are continuously having a field day in how John Wick dispatches his enemies. One more incredible thing is that the adversaries here generally have unbeatable suits, so it makes them a lot harder to survive. For John. In the previous motion pictures, it turned into a piece irritating how simple it was for John to clear rooms brimming with individuals. Presently, that isn't an issue in light of the fact that every enemy he faces feels like a significant snag. So the principal answer for killing these foes is getting innovative with very close battle. Despite the fact that John Wick should be the deadliest professional killer, he's actually being pushed as far as possible here, implying that the contention he needs to defeat is that obviously superior to the earlier films. They additionally made it to where John can't execute steady headshots. So it's pleasant he's a smidgen more practical as far as what he can accomplish. In the primary several films, him running into a room immediately killing everybody began to become lifeless to a degree since it come up short on hard clash for John. So every scene in John Wick 4 isn't obstructed by that reality and tests him. And, surprisingly, however a few foes don't have indestructible shield, they'll in any case toss many individuals at John at a time or introduce another components to enliven the scene. Like a model being individuals attempting to run over John with vehicles. Activity of this type is very intriguing and is the sheer pinnacle of what the class brings to the table. As I would see it, this is a highest quality level for high spending plan activity. Like a model being individuals attempting to run over John with vehicles. Activity of this type is very interesting and is the complete pinnacle of what the class brings to the table. As I would like to think, this is a best quality level for high financial plan activity. As a matter of fact, on the subject of financial plan, it's insane to me that John Wick 4 has a spending plan of $100 million and other activity films are essentially more costly and are more awful. For instance, a new shocking act film I saw was The Dim Man shaking a spending plan of $200 million. So the way that John the 1104 has around 50% of the spending plan and is endlessly better is amusing to me. Sort of demonstrates that down-to-earth and reasonable activity will continuously best VFX anarchy. On the off chance that this film doesn't fulfill you, then I don't have the foggiest idea what activity film will, since even the principal demonstration of the film fundamentally has one monstrous continuous activity scene that felt like it went on for north of 30 minutes. It simply floors you right out of the entryway. Also, on the off chance that you figure it can't improve, it some way or another does. One protest that I accept may messes with certain individuals is that the film is 3 hours in length, and actually I think it acquires that runtime. Move initiates up the greater part of the screen time and it causes the film to feel like it's 2 hours in length. Chad Solsky said that the first cut was very nearly 4 hours, and I'd sincerely very much want to see that as a Chief's cut or something like that. John Wick 4 has a lot of scenes devoted to story and character advancement, and I figure they worked effectively with them in contrast with the last 2 or 3 John Wick films, on the grounds that for the last 2, they set up a few senseless thoughts inside the world, as essentially everybody on the roads being professional killers. Furthermore, the unusual desert scene where John needs to see as the senior. In John Wick 4, everything feels more clear. What's more, there will never be a second in which I'm scratching my head due to some bizarre composing choices. The film doesn't retcon anything, so these previous composing decisions are as yet present, yet all that is presented preceding is great and conceivable for the world. Like, a ton of new high table data is laid out in this film, and I just thought that it is all truly entrancing. The characters were all intriguing and were exceptionally complicated with changing inspirations. They had cool elements, and seeing them conflict on screen were probably the best battles up until this point. Like, Donnie Yen's personality is John's companion's, however, is basically constrained into a position where he needs to chase them down for the high table, yet the whole time at the same time, they have this layer of regard for one another. Donnie Yen is likewise visually impaired in the film, and that offers a cool viewpoint with regards to activity. It's sort of insane how he's ready to dispatch individuals with this deterrent, and he's fundamentally thrill-seeker. In any case, as Donnie Yen, returning to the way that John Wick is continually being tried, seeing Donnie Yen's personality beat his contention in battles is additionally perfect.